So, what we discussed in our previous class, we started discussing about data mining and warehousing. Because we discussed about the introduction part. Then in introduction, we discussed about the main things like what is meant by data mining, the basic concepts in data mining, and the application. Next, we discussed about how data mining is applicable in our real cases or practical cases. Now, next is about what is data mining. In that we discussed what is meant by knowledge discovery from data, like how we can extract something from a data. That means how we can extract something useful from an existing data that we discussed in our previous class. Next, and we discussed about what are the different kinds: database-oriented datasets, advanced datasets, then about data mining models. In that data mining models, we discussed about classification, prediction, cluster analysis, outlier analysis, evolution analysis. These are the methods for finding the patterns. Or these are the methods for finding the patterns for mining something. Next, we discussed about characterization discrimination. In that, the basic concept called, we were discussing about frequent pattern, right? So, in this class, I'm going to discuss about frequent patterns. Now, what is the definition for frequent pattern? A pattern that occur frequently in a data is known as frequent pattern. That means if you are buying something and you are buying it in a group or together you will buy those things, that is known as frequent item set or frequent pattern. One example is like set of items that frequently appear together in a transactional data set, such as milk and bread. Another example is bread and jam, bread and butter. So these are like set of combos that we will buy together. So we can call it as a frequent item set. And those patterns that occur frequently in a data is known as frequent pattern. Now, a frequently occurring subsequence, such as a pattern that the customer tend to purchase, is known as frequent item set in a transaction. If I'm telling an example like if you're buying a PC, there will be a chance of buying camera also, for example, digital camera or a memory card. Another example is like if you're buying a new digital phone or a new smartphone, you will buy some of the accessories like you may buy screen card or you may buy covering cases. All these are like frequent patterns. So you may be noticed in some of the social networking sites or e-commerce web portals and all. If you're buying something, the better option is buying these three together like combos you can see. Example is like if you are searching for a mobile phone, uh, if its price is some say 10,000, you can see with 10,200, if you are spending 200 more, you will get a screen card, you will get a mobile pouch, like that you will get some offers. So these all are like frequent patterns. That means a customer is having a tendency to buy these items together, so we will call it as frequent item set, and finding those pattern is known as frequent pattern, right? Now, mining frequent patterns, like it is, if you are running an e-commerce website, you should be aware about which are the patterns or which are the items that you are going to buy together, that the customer will buy together. So you have to find those frequent item set and mine those frequent patterns that will help you to understand the discovery of interesting association and correlation. Like one is related with some other thing that may be very much new for us. So finding those interesting pattern and correlation will be done doing or mining. Another example is like if we are buying some grocery items, for example, if you are buying some cereals, pulses, and all, there is a chance of buying the containers of that also, right? So you can see in a a shopping mall or in a supermarket and all, how they are arranging things. They will arrange in that manner because the customer buying this will also buy that one also. Okay, that is the frequent item set. So in real world example, some of the frequent item sets are like if you are buying a mobile phone, you may buy memory card also, or if you are buying a digital camera, you may buy a carrying case, like that. All those are like some of the examples for frequent item set. And this frequent item set will help you to understand what are the patterns of buying. Next is about association analysis. So one practical scenario I'll tell: if X is a person who buys computer, there is a chance that X will buy software also. So what we will do is like we will find some new term. We will call it as support and confidence. What is meant by the support and confidence? Confidence means that it's a certainty of 50% mean that customer will buy a computer. There is a chance of buying the software. It is the chances is also 50%. Now, what is meant by support? A 1% support means that 1% of all the transaction under analysis showed that computer and software were purchased together. So, how we can say for finding the association analysis, you have to consider both confidence and support. Support is like you are mining the data or you are analyzing the data with the support of those data. In that data, 1% support means 1% of all of the transaction under analysis showed that computer and software are purchased together. Now, what about confidence? Means you can surely say, you can say 50% confidence means the customer will buy a computer. There is a chance of buying the software, that is also 50%. So confidently we can say both will be buy together at a chance of 50%. And 1% support means with the support of data we are analyzing it and we are telling there is a chance of buying it. Okay. And this association rules involves a single attribute or predicate that repeats single dimensional association rule. That means association rules in a single attribute or predicate that repeats is not a single dimensional association rule. And here you can see another rule. And if we are considering some other factors also of a customer, for example, if a customer X buys a computer, will buy software also. But instead of telling directly, we are considering some other factors or we are considering some more attributes of that person X. For example, X is having an age group 20 to 29. That means he is in a teenage 20 to 29 and income is about 20k to 29k. There, the chances for buying CD player is more. Like 60% is confidence, 2% support is 2%. That means an association between one or more than attribute or predicate. For example, age, income, and buys computer or buys laptop. That is another predicate. This is known as multi-dimensional association rule. Here you are considering not only single dimension, but many other things also you are considering. For example, age, income, buys. All these are some other categories. So this is known as multidimensional association rule. Next is about correlation. Then association rules are discarded as uninteresting if they do not satisfy both minimum threshold and a minimum confidence threshold. Like if you are considering 1,000 transactions, in that only 2% or 2 persons are buying some frequent pattern, we cannot say it is a frequent pattern because it is not occurring frequently. So, in order to avoid that, those kind of errors while finding the frequent item set, what we will do is like we have to give some threshold value. That is, minimum support threshold will be there and minimum confidence threshold will be there. If a transaction is having low support threshold and low minimum threshold, then that transaction set will be discarded from our set. Correlations are used to solve this kind of problems. Okay. Then always we will choose some particular item set which is having lower threshold value and minimum confidence threshold. Correlations will help you to solve this kind of problems. Next is classification and prediction. Here, classification means finding a model that distinguishes describes and distinguishes data classes or concept for the purpose of being able to use the model to predict the class of objects whose how label is unknown for us. Like if we are classifying middle-aged group, 60K salary, we are considering some of the details of some persons like their age, their salary, like that. And if you're telling if they are having minimum 50%, minimum 50,000 k salary, that means they will belongs to manager category. That is a classification. So process of finding a model or a function that describes or distinguishes data classes or concepts that will help you to give a class label which is unknown for us before. That is known as classification. The model, the derived model, may be represented in various forms such as like classification rules, decision trees, mathematical formula, then neural networks. These all are some of the derived model that will uh, help you to classify the given data. Either you can apply some of the mathematical formula, and you can say these all attributes are satisfying this condition, like that. These are some examples for classification. And this classification, I will tell you two scenarios. One is a bank loan officer want to analyze the data in order to know which customers are under the risky group and which customer belongs to the group those who are safe. You can consider how a bank officer can identify that particular person belongs to this class. So how we can make a classification over there. Or another scenario is like a marketing manager at a company need to analyze to guess a customer with a given profile will buy a new computer or not. So, while considering the first one, bank loan officer want to analyze the data in order to know which customer are risky and safe for loan. How they can find out. Okay, if many people are there, requested for a loan, what a bank person will do, they, they will analyze the given data like what's the age group, what is the salary, how he is performing for the past few years, and whether he is repaying the amount. Considering all those factors, a bank loan officer will approve the loan request and rest of the things will be rejected. Rest of the applicants will be rejected. Another example is like marketing manager at a company. In a company, a marketing manager need to analyze and guess which are the frequent items set, which are the items set that a customer will buy together, and customer with a given profile will buy a new computer. അതായത് if you are going to purchase a new computer, which age group persons are buying more? If nowadays you can see everywhere online classes are going on. So you can see subsequently the prices for smartphone as well as for laptop also increased because nowadays market is more for these two because this is a necessity for attending the classes and also people are buying it, more people are buying the same. So a marketing manager of a company need to analyze the data whether that person belongs to an age group of some 18 to 20, 20 25, or some age group of 10 to 18, like that we will consider, or we will consider a person who is having kids of their age. While considering all this data, marketing manager of a company will analyze if they are giving an offer for a smartphone or a laptop, people will buy it or not. Another example is another scenario is classification prediction. We can see here uh, how many criteria that we are considering. We are considering age and income. According to that, you are classifying the given data. For example, consider this: if is a X is a person whose age is youth and income is high, he is belonging to class A. And what a class A will do? His age is youth and income is high. That person is going. That person is going in class A. Now, what about next one, class C? Age is middle aged or senior. He will belong to class C. Now, what about class B? Age is youth. Okay, youth. Then income is low. Here you can see income is low. Then he will belong to category class B. Or if you are considering like this. So in all this category, class X is having youth person and he is having high income, and class B is having uh, youth but the income is low. This is another representation for a classification prediction. Next is prediction. What is meant by prediction? Classification predicts categorical or discrete or unordered labels. Now, prediction models are continuous valued function which is used to predict the missing or unavailable numerical data values rather than class labels. That is known as prediction. Now, next one is cluster analysis. Cluster analysis means if we are given a data, we will group those data which is having or which are having similar attributes. Otherwise, we can say it does not belong to a cluster. Here you can see three color dots. Like pink is the uh, violet is there, blue is there. So in all these cases, these all points comes under a radius, right? Here, if we are considering the middle one as a main entity, and you can see this person X buys computer and buys low income is the categorical level, or this is the property values for that. So we will consider all those clusters which is having similar behavior, and we will call those clusters as inter-cluster distance and intra-cluster distance. And next is about intra-cluster and inter-cluster. Intra-cluster distance are minimized because all the group of objects comes under a single cluster will be considered like there will be minimum distance between intra-cluster distance and inter-cluster distance should be maximized. Next is about outlier analysis. Outliers means the set of items which is not coming under a cluster label. That is known as outliers. How we can remove outliers? Outliers actually distract the behavior of the set of group of items. A database may contain data objects that do not comply with the general behavior of model of the data. These data objects are outliers. So normally, outliers may contain data objects that that behavior is not matching with any of the mm clustering behaviors, intercluster or intra-cluster behavior. These data objects are known as outliers, or we will call it as noises. Outlier analysis. A database may contain data objects that do not comply with a general behavior, and in some applications, it is a fraud detection. The rare events can have uh, can be more interesting than more regularly occurring ones. And that's all about the data mining models and stages. And the next portion is about knowledge discovery, or we will call it as KDD process. So the main steps in KDD are like cleaning and integration. So there will be a raw data which is present in the below that is present in databases and after the database connection. Next is after getting the data, what you have to do, you have to apply some of the techniques for cleaning and integration of the data. And after cleaning and after doing the integration, data will be stored inside data warehouse, and we will apply some of the selection and transformation process. Then we will apply data mining, and after applying the this evaluation and presentation for a single pattern, this will this will leads to find out a clear neat data. That is the process in knowledge discovery. Now we will see the main steps. Each step comes under data mining stages. The first is about data cleaning. At data cleaning, that defines that defined as removal of noisy and irrelevant data from a collection of data. You what you have to do is like you have to clean uh, those cases from missing values, cleaning of noisy data where noises are random. Next is about cleaning the data with discrepancy detection and data transformation tool. Another data mining stage is data integration. Here, data integration is defined as a heterogeneous data from multiple sources combined to form a common source. We will call it as a data warehouse. So, data integration using data migration tool, data synchronization tool, or we can apply data integration using ETL, extract, load, and transformation process, ETL process. So, these all will help you to do data integration. Either you can use data migration tool, or you can use data synchronization tool, or you can apply extract, load, transformation process. Next is about data mining stages. In that, data selection. In data selection is defined as the process where data re- relevant to the analysis of the decided and retrieved data from the data collection. Here, data selection can be done through either using a neural network or by using a decision tree, or you can use an A-wise algorithm, or any clustering and regression technique can also be applied for doing the data selection. Hope all of you clear with these ideas. The about the second stage is in data mining, that is data selection. As we discussed about data integration, next is data selection, and the third process is data transformation. Data mapping and code generation. So assigning elements from source based to destination capture to transformation, that is known as data mapping, and while doing the code generation, creation of actual transformation program, that is known as code generation. Next is data mining stages. In that, uh, in data mining is defined as a clever technique that are applied to extract patterns which are potentially different. Here, transformation task is relevant data into patterns, and which will help us to decide the purpose of model. Next stage is the pattern evaluation. Herein, pattern evaluation is defined as identifying strictly increasing the patterns representing knowledge based on a given measure. Here you have to find the interestingness score by applying summarization and visualization by a user. That is known as pattern evaluation. That's all for today's class. Rest of the things is rest of the thing is about knowledge representation. Then you have to study about main another step is knowledge representation, how we will represent it. Knowledge representation is defined as a technique which will utilizes the visualization tool to represent data mining result. Example is generating a report, generating a table, generating a discrete, discriminant rule, classification rule, characterization rule. All those rules are coming under knowledge representation. So that's all about data mining stages. The main steps in data mining stages that we discussed already. The question may come. from like this. Explain KDD, knowledge discovery process. That is known as KDD. Here, cleaning and dubbing is there, and after cleaning and dubbing, all those data will be stored in a data warehouse. And after applying learn frequent information, what we will do is like we will apply selection procedure, then we will apply data mining on that specific data. So that's all for today. Rest of the things we will discuss in the next class.